So, I mean, the game all of a sudden takes back seat. And when he said it looked like a sprained wrist, you immediately looked upset.
I mean, because I'm no expert, but I've been there before. His grip strength, we get him as linebacker stingers. That looks like nerve damage, and you can't calm a nerve down. You know, it calms down on its own. You know, right now he looks like it's more of an elbow to me because it's like it's being irritated as he throws his, puts his arm over the top. It could be a sprained wrist, but it looks like his elbow grip strength is going to be huge. And the fact that he can't grip a football means that they're going to have to go forward without Joe Burrow, especially. Like, they have the mini bye, but I don't know if it can heal up when you talk about those type of injuries.
As I bring Dan in here, Cindy, if we could show the video that they were showing on the broadcast last night of them arriving in Baltimore, a great deal was made of this. You'll see that he was wearing some sort of brace on the hand as they arrived the other day. We don't know any. Well, let me turn to you, Dan.
No.
What do we know?
No, nothing about this. This was the first indication anything might be wrong, and then, he looked fine early in the game. But what we know about the injury is he's having an MRI today, and that'll help determine the severity of it and how long he'll be out. The text I got back overnight and early this morning said what Zach Taylor said. We really don't know yet. So hopefully we'll have more information on this today. In terms of the thing he was wearing coming off the bus or whatever, is it an injury that they should have reported? Could they get in trouble for that? If it is, yes, they could. We don't know. And in terms of injury reporting through the week on the practice reports, there are rules about, if you miss reps, you have to be called limited, et cetera. Bengals didn't really practice on the short week, right? It's all estimated injury reports and walkthroughs. So I'm sure that there will at least be some questions asked by the League of the Bengals about when this injury occurred and whether it should have been reported. Where that inquiry would go, I really don't know.
All of that said, that where that leaves them is at 5-5 with all their losses coming in the AFC, all these losses within their division, and now Joe Burrow, it would appear, injured, and we'll see how badly. Mike T., the Bengals are a lot of people's Super Bowl team before the season began. Are they done?
No, I think they have a puncher's chance. Jake Browning started 53 games in college, and the way he played last night and the way Bart alluded to it, he was functional. Like, he was non-terrible. And for a guy that probably had no reps, to Graz's point, short week on the road, Joe Burrow, whatever reps they had, he took. But they have 5 wins, Greeny. Right now, the 7th seed in the AFC has 7 wins. So it's not ideal by any stretch. They have a mini bye. Obviously, a lot's going to depend on this MRI, but I don't think it's over.
And I know what you meant there. You juxtapose your words. The 7th seed has 5 wins, is what you meant to say.
Yep.
And so they're right. What are you doing?
Oh, that's the nail in the coffin.
No,
it's barbecue.
I don't know if the audience could see that. Go ahead, show everyone.
It is over.
Over.
You talk about a team that has the hardest remaining schedule. Let me remind you, Mike T., that they have the Pittsburgh Steelers who can get after the quarterback, right? You look right there, the Jaguars, the Minnesota Vikings is playing well. The Colts, they can lose one of all those games. The Browns, the Chiefs. Listen, it is over with. If you have 8 losses, they're going to lose at least 3 of those.
Right, but the 6th seed right now is the Cleveland Browns. They're going to be playing Dorian Thompson-Robinson, so they're far from a mortal lock as well.
We played Jake Browning.
Right. Who has more experience.
Wash.
No offense, Jake.
Right, but my point is the 6th and 7th seed in the AFC is up for grabs.
All right,
the Houston Texans, welcome to the playoffs.
That's what I'm saying. The 7th seed is a team that just beat the Bengals on Sunday, right? And the Browns have an elite defense. I think the Bengals have a good defense, but it hasn't performed at the level the Browns defense has this year.
Right.
They're 1-5 in the conference. They're 0-2 against the first place team in their division.
It's over.
And I don't know that. I mean, look, no one can afford to lose their starting quarterback, but I'm not sure there's a team in the entire league whose fortunes are more tied to its starting quarterback than the Cincinnati Bengals. I mean, talk about heart, soul, all of it. I mean, everything about the Bengals is that player, and they know it. I mean, it's
how dare you bring facts to an argument with Mike T? So how dare you?
What Mike is saying is that if they are able to tread water until Burrow gets back, they might be able to sneak in with 9 wins.
Greeny, if we're sitting here a month from today, the 6th and 7th seed in the AFC is going to be somewhere between 8 and 9 wins. Now, look, this looks awful. And one thing I will tell you based on my experiences, players know, and the way Joe Burrow spoke to Lamar Jackson, he's really concerned. So I'm saying with Jake Browning, they have a shot to win 3 more games. And the 7th seed may have 8 wins. It could be Houston. Right now, it's Cleveland. And of all those other teams out there, they still have a lot of really good players.
This was a brutal night. I'm not going to play the John Harbaugh sound in the interest of time here, but trust me when I say that Harbaugh said afterwards that it appeared to be a season-ending ankle injury. That is it's a brutal loss.
They have to take that tackle out of football.
You didn't say anything.
Oh, sorry, to Mark Andrews, yeah.
They have to take that tackle out of football. He almost got Lamar Jackson. You know, the dropping of all your weight, especially falling. Listen, I was a member of the Baltimore Ravens on that same field when Roy Williams, he'll grab you from the back, the horse collar, and drop all his weight. Nothing good happens. It's a dirty tactic, and I think they need to take it out of football. I know it was on the Rules Committee's short list. This is going to be exhibit number 1 because he also did it to Lamar Jackson on the sideline as well. Listen, he could run through. You're taught to get your head across and drive your feet, not grab somebody and pretty much horse collar them and fall down on the back of their legs.
To be clear, that is a legal tackle, but it's under discussion. The Rules Committee has already discussed it and will take up, our competition committee, take up the idea of possibly outlawing that tackle.
So in the big picture, maybe that becomes an illegal play.
Yes.
In the little picture.
So it's tough.
I mean, how would you describe the loss of Mark Andrews to this offense just when it feels like it's really coming into its own?
Imagine Patrick Mahomes losing Travis Kelce. He's been the second most productive guy in the AFC. He's Lamar Jackson's security blanket. He's a guy that wins in the middle of the football field. He allows all those one-on-ones on the outside for Beckham, for Zay Flowers. He's the guy who sets the table for that offense.
Reading, I got this from Hemo, but in high leverage moments this year, from a target perspective, in the red zone, 14 targets, 2 minutes, 12 targets. So, Lamar Jackson in those high leverage, consequential moments, it's Mark Andrews. So, look, I'm not saying it's a franchise quarterback like Joe Burrow, but if they had to lose any player, the one they could ill afford to lose was Mark Andrews.
Yeah, he trusts him completely, and that's something a quarterback absolutely needs. The silver lining, he's throwing touchdown passes to these receivers. He's building a little bit of a rapport with these receivers. Zay Flowers, the rookie. Odell Beckham looks like, again, hopefully he's not hurt too badly with that shoulder he picked up late in the game. But silver lining is maybe they're in a little bit better place than they would have been a year or two ago to suffer a loss.
It's just a brutal night. I mean, it was a game that we had all this hope for, and then all of a sudden Andrews goes down immediately. Yeah. Now they're without Burrow. It took all the fun out of the game. Yeah. But in the end, that injury to Beckham didn't look good to me either at the end. I really, really hope that wasn't anything big.
AC joints and clavicles are a tough thing. It's more about pain tolerance. But as long as it isn't broken, he'll be okay. We see Keenan Allen has a similar injury right there. It's when you fall and all your weight falls on the side. You have an AC joint that sits right here where the clavicle comes with the other part of the shoulder.
Yeah,
so right here, you see it.
Right here.
It's not so much the hit, it's the fact that his body weight falls on him on the side right there.
Yep.
And that's where you get a little nerve problem. So as long as it's not broken, if it's broken, guys have played with fractured clavicles, but usually it requires a plate being put.
My goodness. All right.
It's written all over your face.
You don't have to say a word.
All over your face. You ain't got to say nothing, man. We've seen the body language, man. And listen, Chris, me and you both know. Now, if this is a girlfriend, a mother, a non-NFL brother, I push it to the side, right?
Yeah.
You be talking reckless sometimes.
Of course. Yeah.
Responding to tweets. But when it comes from your brother that plays in this league, that understands, listen, he said bro wasn't it until 14 got there.
Yeah.
You don't think that, listen, we all have driven home after games with our family, and we tell them the truth.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
We tell them the truth.
Oh,
hey, how's the coach? How's this player? Oh, we tell them the truth.
Yeah.
You definitely tell your brother who can understand and relate the truth. So when he says that, he may have not said that then, but he's trying to figure out a way to get up out of there because guess what? The window is closed.
But here's the thing, though, Bart. It's what he didn't say. Like, we're talking about the Josh Allen of it all. What I didn't hear him say is, yeah, Josh is my guy, and I got his back, and this is going to be the dude that I ride with for the fourth. He didn't say that.
Listen.
He said, listen, it's my family. We're going to handle this a certain way, and I appreciate if y'all give it that respect. It didn't sound like he was giving a vote of confidence to Stefon Diggs like it sounded like when Joe Brady called him the best quarterback in the NFL.
The reality is Stefon is 30 years old. Windows open and close in this league. If you're a good player, you got 2 windows. If you're a quarterback, you got 3 or 4 because your lifespan is longer. He's getting on the wrong side of 30, and he's in a contract that he can't get out because he had dead cap money. The only way he can get out is to James Harden situation if the season continues to go this way.
Let's do that. What is the contract situation? Everyone in the world is wondering if they don't turn it around this year, will Stefon Diggs be back? What does the contract say?
$18.5 million next year. It's not guaranteed. And, not to cast aspersions on football players here, but sometimes when the guarantees run out, that's when the guy starts getting upset about the contract. Am I right there, Mike?
I've heard that once or 2,000 times in my life.
Got to say a few things, all right? Because I've talked to a lot of people close to this situation this week. Stefon Diggs, since the minicamp flare-up that everybody knew about, has not been a problem in that building. Now, what he's saying to his brother on the drive home, we don't know. But I think the point he's making in this press conference is, I have not caused any problems here. I have been professional. I've been a Buffalo. That's what we're getting from inside the building. So what he's saying privately to his brother and how that's coming out on Twitter, I think that aggravated him because he feels like I've conducted myself the right way since the thing that happened back in June.
Or on the sideline when he's showing him up throwing the iPad.
In the playoffs last year.
Okay.
Or you mean a couple weeks ago? Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
And Greedy,
Anyway, will he want out? I think that's going to be tied a lot to how the rest of this season goes. And if it goes badly, I think all bets are off.
You see, I think it's more tied to the contract. And if I'm the leadership of Buffalo, I'm going to go see him and say, hey, we've done a lot of great things together. You're going to retire a Buffalo Bill. We'll handle the economics in the offseason. Josh Allen's been a great player with you here. You've been a great player with him. You're not going to find a better quarterback than Josh Allen. He's not perfect. He does turn it over. But it has worked really well here, and we're going to solve the OC at the end of the year.
Why are you laughing?
Because he's saying it's worked really well, and they've been hustling backwards since 2020. They've been getting bounced earlier and earlier in the playoffs. They might not make the playoffs this year. So if you look at the trajectory, it ain't going the right way.
When they've been together, they've won the division every year.
Yes.
Yeah, they ain't going to win the division this year. And guess what? If they lose on Sunday, not just one team in the Dolphins would have passed them by, the Jets would have passed them by, and they don't know who the hell their quarterback is.
And their window is closed.
Here's the thing.
Their window is not closed.
Man, they got an old roster. They got to get rid of Von Miller, bad contracts. Gabe Davis is up for a contract extension.
I think the biggest problem they have is they're so shredded on defense, right? Now you have a Josh Allen who has to overcome that, and he still has his same old turnover problem. So I think that's the problem. When you talk about an old roster and closing windows, I think that's where you look and say, like, well, there maybe needs to be more repair work here than we thought.
And he's 30 years old. He don't have time for a reset in that building, right? He's 30 years old. You think about Poyer, Hyde, Von Miller ain't who he's supposed to be.
Let me get a final word from Canty because I have to let him go back to radio. Go.
Yeah, I with respect, Dan, I get it. He's got to overcome the injuries on the defensive side of the ball. But this is a top 5 scoring defense. Like, the injuries weren't the issue in the game on Monday Night Football.
Turnover.
The injuries didn't make him throw an interception before halftime that led to 3 points for the Denver Broncos.
I think
we keep talking about the coaching of the Buffalo Bills, and I'm not saying that Sean McDermott is perfect, but it's hard when you know in a given game you're going to get 10 possessions and your quarterback is going to give 2 of those away every single game because of turnovers.
I only have one piece of good news. Put the picks up on the screen real quick, Cindy. The only chance the Jets have is that no one is picking them.
Yes.
Let's go, baby.
Let's go.
No one is picking them. That always works out as a good luck.